All right, folks, I guess we can get started. So, welcome everyone to the Litmus Contributors and Maintainers Meet, the first time happening in 2025. I hope you guys had a great holiday and a great new year. So, I see a couple of new folks have joined. So, what we generally do in this Contributors and Maintainers Meet is talk through the roadmap items, any sort of governance or any sort of features or proposals that we want to take in the project, in the LitmusChaos project. This happens every second and fourth Thursday of the month. So this is the first one on uh, first one of the year, and also the first contribution call in the first Thursday. So that's what we're doing. Now the agenda here sort of looks like what we are planning for the upcoming LFX, and then we'll talk through some of the plans or proposals that we have in mind, which we want to discuss on. Then we'll move into one of the governance items that got merged recently. And then finally, we'll just have an announcement of some of our community folks getting invited or promoted to being one of the members of LitmusChaos project. So before we jump into the agenda items, if you would want to introduce yourselves, or you can also do it on the chat. But if you can unmute and introduce yourselves, that'll be great. So I do see Ayush Sharma, I do see Mert. If you would be comfortable introducing yourselves, that'll be great.
Hello,
Okay.
am I audible, Sam?
Yeah, you are. Yes.
Yeah, so my name is Ayush Sharma, and this is my first time attending a contributors meeting. And recently, I got to know about Litmus, and I wanted to start contributing to it. I have raised one PR, and yeah, that's it.
Awesome. So are you like evaluating it, or have you started using it, or is it like you're sort of exploring Litmus right now?
I'm right now exploring. Uh,
Got it.
yeah,
Awesome. That's good. Happy that you're here.
yeah, thank you.
Uh, Mert, would you want to introduce yourself, or in the chat as well if you're shy? Okay, I guess we can move on. Um, So, couple of updates before we jump in. We have Chaos Carnival right up next. Like it's pretty much knocking on the door. It's 22nd of Jan, which is almost a week. And let me just exit out for a second. So this is sorry. So this is the website for those of you who do not know. This is the flagship event for Chaos Team in the Harness edition. So this is our fifth edition, and this time we are doing a bit different. So we have virtual talks. So you can also subscribe and like do like an on-demand version of it as well later on. But this will be completely virtual. It'll be a one-day event rather than a two-day event, and it's on the 22nd of Jan. And there are great speakers, great lineups. We have people from Lloyd's Bank, Google Cloud, Mattermost, Honeycomb, Alibaba. So yeah, it'll be a great jam-packed couple of hours filled with a lot of content. And you can also scroll down and see the agenda for the same. So we have two different tracks: incident response, chaos engineering. So the registrations are live and it's completely free. You can just go ahead and click on register now and just fill in your details and you should be registered. So the event is on 22nd of Jan. So feel free to go ahead and register for the same. Um, I'll also put the link, or somebody can put the link on the chat as well. But yeah, I'd urge everybody to, go and attend and have a jam-packed evening or morning. Cool. So let me come back to this. So there are a couple of items which I wanted to discuss on the LFX side of things, which is the mentorship program. So the upcoming mentorship program, which is the spring term, is up already. The announcement is there. So it opens on the 8th. So it's the proposal has already been opened. Now we are going to propose certain ideas, which is what we wanted to discuss as well. Take this forum and discuss with the broader team. These are the timelines for the first term, the spring term. So it original like the contribution starts on March, but we sort of pre-prepare and sort of submit the mentee applications, and then the mentees give their application, and then we sort of evaluate it, and it's after the selection on 26th Feb. we officially begin on the 3rd of March. So these are some of the timelines. You can also go to the CNCF LFX Mentorship repo, and then you can check it out as well. Or you can go to the LFX repo and check the same. I am sure like I think they're in the middle of updating all the details right now because it's pretty early. But if you go to the CNCF one, you'll see the updated timeline. I'm sure they'll update it on the LFX repo as well. So this screenshot is from the CNCF one, and the link is also just CNCF/mentoring. So you can find all the details of it there. It'll be up on the website as well soon. So we had a couple of ideas on specific sectors that we wanted to discuss. We want to start with CI/CD space. So the plan or sort of the ideas we are thinking of are divided into a couple of sections. Let's say one is CI/CD, the other is documentation, the other is core side of implementation. There's observability and there's AI. So for those who are attending it for the first time, we have a sheet. Second, we have this sheet, Litmus contributors and maintainers meet, where we maintain all the different meetings that are happening. So if you come down, you'll see this is the current one. We have the others which happened before. There's also a HackMD sheet for the community meetings. This one is the contributors meeting, and you'll find recordings for each one of them that happened. So if you missed out or if you want context on any of the previous ones, you can go to the YouTube and there's a playlist which you can check out. So we discussed on the roadmap item before this meet, and one of the roadmap items was also adding AI, like doing some sort of automated chaos injection through AI. So we are taking a couple of ideas from the roadmap and also outsourcing in the sense like we are seeking more contribution in those possible roadmap items. So these ideas are sort of evolved or taken from them. So we want to start with CI/CD, the CI/CD space. So we want to enable like chaos in your CI/CD pipelines. So we already have something called Kubernetes chaos in GitHub Action, which is in place. We also have Spinnaker, and we also have a couple of other, pipeline-driven chaos at the moment. But we want to increase its capability and also involve other pipelines like Tecton, Drone CI, and also integrate them. And we also have chaos workflows in Jenkins, GitLab, and these other toolings that we previously used in 1.x, in Litmus 1.x, which we can sort of upscale and modify to be seamless with Litmus 3.x as well. So I think Karthik is here. If you just want to add or give a brief on the chaos workflows for the 1.x, that'll be helpful as well, I think.
Sure. Hello, everyone. Just to give you a little bit of context, some history on what we've done in this space. Stein mentioned that there are some repositories in the Litmus Chaos org today on how to integrate chaos as part of, which have example YAML files, templates essentially, on how you can inject chaos as part of a GitLab pipeline or a Spinnaker pipeline or a GitHub Action, etc. It is being facilitated by what we call as a chaos CI lib, essentially an image which based upon the provider that you want to do chaos as part of, based on the pipeline type that you want to do chaos in, the chaos CI lib, basically allows you to create a chaos engine on your cluster, on the desired services, extract the result of the chaos experiment, that is the chaos result resource, and then finally determine the success of the job, right? The success or failure of the GitLab job or the GitHub Actions job, etc. Now, this is something that some of our users were actively using in their environments, but over time, we have moved on to newer definitions for chaos experiment. In the Litmus 2.x, we introduced chaos workflows, and we no longer encourage use of the chaos engine resources directly on the clusters. We would like it represented within a workflow. We've also added the notion of probes to do validations. And there's also a concept of a resilience score that you can now get, something that wasn't there in the Litmus 1.x when we started out. You only had the chaos engine to define the chaos experiment, the actual intent, fault injection, and then you had a result. And now we have more objects to help you conduct a chaos experiment that is sort of more realistic and more closer to real world usage. The workflow actually helps you to stitch together one or more faults in a desired sequence. It also allows you to add certain probes and allows you to retrieve a resilience score, that is, the quantitative measure of how resilient your application is to a particular flow, right? Particular experimental flow. So all these constructs were added in 2.x and 3.x, but our chaos CI lib and the templates for the respective pipeline providers have not undergone a change. They're still in the 1.x mode. They're still using chaos engines. So this LFX item is about how you can, how or we would need to use workflows instead of chaos engines directly, and how you can use the resilience score as a means to determine the success or failure of a job, rather than just chaos result pass or fail status, right? So which is a more truer indicator of resilience or success of the chaos uh, experiment job within a pipeline. So these changes would need some they would need some two, three components to these changes. One, like I said, is to fix the library, the chaos CI lib, to ensure that it is able to trigger workflows and get resilience code details for a computed experiment, etc. And then there's also this wrapper images that we have for pipeline providers that invoke the chaos CI lib. So those also need to, I think, change. So we can go into more details on this. We can probably put more details on the LFX issue corresponding to this requirement, along with detailed notes on the expectation and possible milestones along the way. When you, for the entire LFX project for this issue, what are the intermediate milestones? We can put all that information up. So if anyone is interested in contributing to this, please let us know. We can get in touch and discuss more.
Yep. That's cool. Cool. So moving on to the next item is something we also have in the roadmap, which is a Q1, Q2 item of the roadmap, which is leveraging some of the AI model. Typically, it's not just like exhaustive and does not have to be case GPT, but something similar. So if we can intelligently predict failure points in our system, in our cluster, based on the scans that the AI tools can do. So that would sort of be the idea, to be proactive rather than manually doing it or reading the incident later and then choosing what to do. So if you can use or leverage AI to do that sort of an item is what we are looking for. So a couple of points would be to identify the failure points and suggest chaos in experiments, sort of like a recommendation engine, and then also automate some of the fault injections in a more meaningful way, so that day 0 and day 1 experiments can be easily done via those recommendations. So of course, if you have like a complicated scenario, it's difficult for preliminary AI to sort of suggest that. But the idea is not to eliminate the whole manual effort, but sort of aid in that effort. So that is something we want to try and sort of see where it leads. So this is a bit more detailed on what we would want: AI-driven insight, and which can scan your cluster and find potential issues like misconfigurations and things like that. Then the recommendation engine, which can sort of detect you have high memory usage or something else, and this is the this is the fault we'd want you to run, or maybe a scenario using multiple faults which we'd want you to run. And then it can trigger these experiments, which are helpful for the validation. So this is one more space which we are thinking of. Then we have a couple of items on the docs side of things, because we are progressively increasing our feature set, and we want to also have improvements on the documentation that we are also doing along with the tech docs analysis. So one idea is to have some sort of a pre-built playbook. This is not technically, I mean, not necessarily a pre-built playbook, which would be like a set of definite things you can do, like a principle, like the principle of chaos engineering, or like the one that Netflix put out. It's sort of a way for us to reference what you can do with different scenario types. So if you have a basic scenario, you can try something. If you have an advanced scenario, you can try something, which would be like a copy paste YAML template, which you can copy from there, treat it as a playbook, and use it in your own solution. So because we have often seen users trying to replicate a scenario or trying to achieve something, so I think creating a playbook around it or giving a guide of the playbook of some sort of incidents that actually mimic the real world scenarios would be helpful. So these are some ideas that the playbook can contain, like a description of what you want to achieve, the prerequisites, the experiment details, and like a template, a pre-configured template, which would have like placeholders which you can copy paste and modify, and the expected outcome and the cleanup. So these are some predefined set of scenarios, hypotheses, which will already create in place. So this is just an idea. These are some of the ideas which we can take. Another one, the same domain for the docs, is if we can enhance and create more tutorials, because right now all of our tutorial or references are in video format or blog format in YouTube or in dev.to or in other mediums. So if we can consolidate those and put it in the documentation officially, just like we already had the potato head tutorial by Suyan, which was very helpful. So if we can expand on those and create different, like target different audiences, like day zero, day one, or something, that will be great. So if we can have like, let's say, basic set of tutorials and advanced tutorials and then end-to-end workflow tutorials, that will be very helpful, because people do not have to digress and go to other mediums to sort of learn or evaluate a certain scenario. They can do so directly from the docs itself. So these are some of the ideas that if for the basic tutorial, you can do like a normal simulation of a pod delete, which is the bare minimum. For the advanced ones, we can target a specific application. We can simulate some sort of a leader pod crash or something. And for the end-to-end, it's like a complete everything, including monitoring and also the whole demonstration from start to finish. So this is another idea which can be clubbed with the others as well. But these are just smaller ideas which we'll take a call on. The second last one is on the core side of things. So we want to introduce new vendor agnostic chaos faults, which sort of focus on the failure types rather than the agent. So we want to target, if we want to target, let's say, serverless function, so have a fault out there which can be used as a reference for others in the community to build and expand upon. We also want to add something in the database, so we can do stateful chaos, and then application level we already have. If we can increase more on the type of applications we target, and then all time related failures like time skew and things like that. So if we can expand on the 50 plus experiments we have right now, but in a more generic way, so that the community can build on top of it. So these are some of the examples. So we can go the serverless route, some data-driven based application, high traffic application, and also time-sensitive systems. That'll be one direction we can take this. And lastly, we have the observability side of things. So we already did merge the open telemetry PR, which was raised by NamQ, which is around like enhancing observability. So we want to enhance that further, because right now it's very basic, and we want to increase like other areas on the same on distributed tracing. So we want to instrument that with like instrument basically open telemetry in other components of Litmus. So like chaos runner, chaos operator, and those like the Go SDK, things like that. There's a couple of span attributes that are missing, so we might have to increase the area we want to monitor. So we have to add a couple of span attributes, errors, and events on Litmus Go, Chaos Runner, and these other sub repositories. And then lastly, we have to configure it to export using the OTel collector. So these are some of the items that are missing as part of the implementation. We do have the integration though, but we want to expand more on the monitoring integration. So this could be another item that we can take up for the LFX. Now, these are just ideas floating around. We obviously won't be doing all of them, but we'll pick and choose and then formulate this, and we'll come up with something more concrete when we sort of decide on some of the ideas, and then we'll put that out for the community to sort of check and apply. So that was it on the LFX ideas. If anybody has any questions so far, want to add on a new idea or have any doubts on the existing ideas we have, feel free to, put it on chat or just unmute and say. So there's one question, is this for LFX for September? So this one is the LFX for March, not September. This is the spring term, which will be, the application opens mid-Feb mid-Feb and closes on 27th Feb. And then you get the result by 28th, I think. So this starts on 3rd March, 2025. Cool. Okay. If you do not have any more questions, I would like to mention this governance policy that we recently merged. So this policy encompasses all the community roles that we are currently maintaining in the project. We also have clarified a couple of questions which were asked on Slack before, like, how can I move from one role to the other? What is the exact specific responsibilities for a role? And also, how can I sort of, shift or promote myself because I've been working on this project for a while, how I can shift to the other, like, how I can become a maintainer, or how I can become a reviewer. So those changes have, 1 second, those changes have been merged in this PR itself. So if we just take a look, or let me just show it on this itself. So in the governance file, we'll have a few things modified. So we have a proper voting process on what should be the quorum and how decisions are made on the same. So we did this before in the form of a Google Doc, but now we have sort of made this official. And we have the community support as well. So these meetings that we're doing, we have the invite form in here. We'll also make this change on the website, because right now the website does not really say that, and we sort of do this on Slack most often. So we'll update that as well. But this is the first step of the process. So we have the community support updated, and we also have your other details like the decision-making process, conflict resolutions, and also the voting process. And you can see there's a section for roles and membership. So if you go over to the community membership, this is the new thing that was modified. So you have different membership levels right now. So we have the members, which is the first step, then the reviewers, and then the maintainers. So every responsibility and requirements are clearly stated in this. If you go over to the members, you can see you would have a triage role, and these are the requirements and the responsibilities. And for reviewers, these are the requirements and the responsibilities, and same for the maintainers as well. Now, these are the nomination process for each one of them. So if you want to be a member, then a reviewer or a maintainer has to nominate you, and then there's a voting process that goes through. So everything will be is documented here. You can check that out. And these are some of the other details which are clearly stated. So if you, let's say, want to be a member at this point of time, you can simply open an issue, and this template will be sort of taken upon. So this is the new request now with that issue template. So if you fulfill all these requirements and you have at least one sponsor for who is sponsoring you to be a member of the project, then we can officially start off with the voting process. And we also wanted to kick this off with the announcement next this week. So the results will be by next week. Then you can put on a list of contributions, not all, but the major ones that you want to highlight, the issues you have responded to, and the projects you're involved with, things like that. So we get more context while we're doing the voting. So yeah, that is what we wanted to kick off the process, and this change is already merged and is live. So we'd love for you to nominate if you are a reviewer, if you've been a part of the project, if you're a maintainer, and you want somebody to be a part of the LitmusChaos org, then yeah, feel free to nominate. So that is all from the update side. Now I just wanted to do a quick announcement on the members who are getting access to Litmus.org. So we are kicking off our governance policy with these few members who have been with us for quite a while, and they've been doing amazing contribution. So thank you to all of you who are getting promoted to a member. We'll start off with the voting process soon, and I personally vouch for all of them, so I'll definitely be a sponsor for you guys. So I'll get in touch with each one of you, and we'll help with the first set of PRs. Then we can use that PR as a reference whenever we are doing the voting. So this will be there for a week, and we'll be doing the voting, of course. And we'll see how this goes. So thank you again for helping out and contributing to Litmus. I hope you guys keep doing the same, and all of you will get a triage role as well. So you guys can moderate the discussions, help with creation of issues, closing and opening PRs, and adding labels, and sort of facilitating any sort of discussion threads and everything that you have been doing so far as well. It's just a bit more official, nothing else. So yeah, congratulations to all of you. Yeah, great work. I hope you guys be great members. Awesome. So that is all from my end. If you guys have any questions on the governance, on anything LFX or anything we discussed, feel free to, say that out loud. All right. If no more questions, I guess a very happy new year to everybody, and we'll meet again on the fourth Thursday and the next Wednesday, which is the community call. Thank you guys for joining. I hope to see you again soon.